What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown City Geekcast, and this is going to be our trailer reaction video to the latest Matrix Resurrections trailer. We haven't been giving it enough attention, so we thought let's put something together. Neo deserves some attention as well as Trinity. My name is Steady. With me on this stream is the one and only Matty B. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me good? We were having some trouble earlier. I want to make sure we're good.
We're good. We're golden now.
Well, that's
Uh,
awesome, man. I appreciate you having me on. This is I know we just did the Ghostbusters one, but this is certainly
yes.
one of my favorite franchises of all time. I've seen this quite a few times front to back, the original trilogy, but I'm pretty excited about this trailer reaction.
The original trilogy still holds up too. I mean,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
be
People
honest.
hate on people hate on Revolutions, but I loved it
You
too.
remember
I
that? You remember that?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved all of the movies. Two had the best action sequences, but the overall story of all of them are top notch.
And I can't wait to see this one. This one feels like it's sort of a dramatic shift in the franchise. It's going to be like nothing we've ever seen before, and this trailer that we're about to watch I think, is going to be more evidence of that. So, without further ado, this is going to be our Matrix Resurrections trailer reaction. Let's go ahead and get this going. Here we go.
Deja vu is usually a glitch in the Matrix. It happens when they change something. It happens when they change something. It happens when they change something. It happens when they
I use old code to learn something new.
Maybe this isn't the story we think it is.
Wow.
Oh man. Right?
That was good.
This feels completely different than anything they did before. And that's
in the
not
spam
you know,
call.
that's again, that's not a bad thing. I just think you did what you wanted to do and you did it so well
Mhm.
that I was gonna say the old ways won't work, but this entire trailer is entitled "Deja Vu" for a reason. So clearly, we're gonna be hitting the same sort of chords and notes and beats of the old movies.
Mhm.
Your thoughts, man? Just seeing that trailer for the first time.
I liked it. That was obviously their "we have to put something out" trailer. If you've seen some of the previous ones, there's a little bit more kind of leading into
Yeah,
things that you can theorize on a little bit. This was really cool. I liked how, but we knew this is a pattern of the Matrix. There's always going to be new iterations, almost all exactly the same as each other. There's always another anomaly. And so I think it was just tying into that. It's basically saying, hey, this is going to be our take on the next, because obviously Neo um, saved them the last time. And so they had to rebuild this world. And I'm excited to see it. What do you think?
I'm also as excited to see it. It is peculiar that, like you mentioned, the first trailer we got, fantastic. This one though really shows you all the similarities. We're walking almost the same path. And it's not to say that's going to be a bad thing, but we don't want the same villains. We shouldn't have the same villains as the first one, right? There should be no Agent Smith to take down Neo this time around or someone of that caliber. So I really hope this is not going to be Neo versus the agents. I'm always trying to figure out what is this plot. This plot should not be Neo trying to save the last remnants of the humans on the planet against the machines. We should not be seeing that plot again. So what is this plot going to be about? That's what I'm really most curious about. What is the whole point?
I mean, it could go so many directions. I mean, I could get really abstract with it,
Yeah,
and because I mean, we don't know the fate of Neo after Revolutions. I don't believe.
right.
He
He's
sort
supposed
of
to be.
assimilates into the machines at the end and sort of
Ooh,
sacrifices himself
right.
um, to go. But it seemed like that's the normal business because the machine came up at the end of Revolutions and kind of gave him instructions. It seemed like this is a patented formula. So I hope they take the abstract route of this is sort of bits and clips of whatever consciousness Neo has left inside of the Matrix, guiding maybe the next anomaly. Um, and
Oh,
I would enjoy that. The first trailer, I don't know if you remember. Maybe maybe will you just play the first trailer real quick, and then
absolutely.
yeah, and then we'll talk about maybe some more of the plot lines that I think that could come, and I want to bounce them off of you.
I was gonna actually ask you, and I'll kind of throw that out. One thing that is definitely a possibility um, is this character another anomaly? And the Neo that we know was the first one to sort of break the mold, choose a different path, actually succeed where the others did not.
Yeah,
Or is
he kind of forced both. He took the option away from the architect, if I remember. He chose the door, but he ended up being able to get both outcomes that he was presented with, right? Or am I not remembering that
I
correctly?
no,
He had a
you're
choice to
you're
choose,
right. You're
and
right about that. He actually had a choice of, putting himself back into the matrix. Let's start this whole deal over again, or go off and get yourself killed for nothing. I think was the other option, pretty much.
I thought
Um,
it was you save the one you love, which I
sure.
guess would be your point of going back into the Matrix because Trinity was running from the agents at the time. Um, and so he had to jump down and save her, if I remember that correctly. So it was either
I
go
almost
back to the Matrix and save her, or save Zion. He had the
I
choice to either save Zion or her.
I think you're right. I think part of it was if you allow yourself voluntarily to get deleted, then I will save. Colonel
Oh,
Sanders here.
okay. Yeah.
I will save Trinity because you won't make it unless you
Ergo,
go. Yeah,
concordantly, vis-a-vis.
vis-a-vis. Yeah.
Did
Uh,
you ever see the MTV Movie Awards spoof?
so good with Will Ferrell, right?
Yes, Will Ferrell, Justin Timberlake, and Sean William Scott.
Oh, that's right. Forgot Timberlake was in that.
Anyways, I didn't mean Anyways, I to
Um,
didn't mean to wreck your point.
No, no, no. You're absolutely correct. I think that was part of it. You can't save Trinity. Kill yourself. Not kill yourself. Sacrifice yourself now. Stop this madness, and I will
Mhm,
save
mhm.
Trinity. And he was like, "No, I'm gonna go supersonic speed and save her myself." And he
Yep,
did. He
yep.
absolutely did.
Break the Matrix.
Going back to Resurrections Matrix trailer one.
Thomas, you seem particularly triggered right now. Can you tell me what happened?
I had dreams that weren't just dreams. Am I crazy?
We don't use that word in here.
Hi.
Have we met? One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small. And the ones that mother gives you don't do anything at all. Go ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall.
Time to fly.
And if you
you want the truth here, you're going to have to follow me.
The only thing that matters to you is still here. I know it's why you're still fighting and why you will never give up. You don't know me. No?
After all these years, to be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.
Bro. Bro.
Have you ever
That it looks insane. I mean,
Yeah.
shout out the Wojciechowskis. I don't know if it's just one of them who's on it. I mean, I think I only see one credited.
Yeah, I think it's just one this time around.
Um, and so I kind of like that because they both had their own ideas of what the next story would be. They have probably already written tons of scripts, and either they combine them together or they have to finally choose between the studio, kind of who would go forward. Even back to the first movie and how they went to the second and the third. Um, I, I've read some theories online. And,
Dude,
one of them says that in this new version of the Matrix, Thomas Anderson, and maybe that's not even his name. I'm just going to say that for who isn't Neo yet, is like a Hollywood actor, and
I can see
um,
that.
he's sort of in the movie, but as he's doing this movie, he starts seeing things like black cats, getting deja vu. All of a sudden, he's sort of snapping back into, wait, I feel like this is real. This isn't uh, pretend. And then he sort of from there, and basically the new Agent Smith is actually his agent. Um, as and he's trying to divert him away from this role because he doesn't want him to become the anomaly of the one or whatever it might be. But
To be aware.
it's a little out there. But I mean, the way this is set up, I mean, it could go any way, or it could be a complete rehash.
I love the trailer. It feels like we're going through several like movie type elements in just one film. Like there's so much to take in. The first movie, we get out of the Matrix and spend some time there, but we don't spend any time in Zion or anything like that in the first movie, the original Matrix film, right? That all came in the sequels. This one feels like we're gonna be hitting like a lot of different places. It looks like it's bigger and more expansive than any of the previous films. I could be wrong about that. It's great that I love the continuity at the end of Matrix Revolutions. Um, that green sort of hue was gone. The sky was beautiful. The
Hmm.
birds were flying. The sunset was all different colors and stuff. And we're still in that sort of stage, that element of like everything is wonderful,
Hmm.
everything is awesome, and I again I'm trying to figure out what is this plot, what is the issue, what is the thing they're trying to fix. Maybe it's another um what's it called another Agent Smith type program that's gone rogue and they need to call him out to fix something. Some of the machines may have reverted back to their old ways. That feels like it's too repetitive, though. So I want it to be something new. I want it to be something that does make sense, and it'll be interesting to find out what that eventually is. That one phrase I'm really sticking to from the first trailer we saw was, "Let's use." I think he said either "let's use" or "what if we use." Let's use old code to build something new. What does Neo want to build? That's like a great question, and even a better line that just makes you wonder what they're talking about.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, another thing the trailer kind of presents to me, another sort of box idea. Are they multi here? Are there different
Hey,
forms of code? Are there, it has Neo figured out how to between these different lines of code, maybe completely different um, formulas. And then because of that, it takes a little bit out of him. And with a new one, he's like trying to figure it out again. He's at different stages in each one as far as being the anomaly goes. Because I mean, there was a lot of different. First of all, like sequences, the stylization of some of those scenes were different. The tones and the textures, and some of them were a little bit different. The
yeah.
characters seemed a little bit different. So a lot of people are doing this multiverse thing, and I don't know having more than one Matrix that he's able to hop in and out of.
You know what I like to do? I like to play a game. And the game that I usually play is get in the head of the writers.
Okay.
If and I do this with all the franchises. I you know, fan theories is like one way of putting it, but it's more along the lines of what makes sense, what's something we haven't seen before, what's something that would blow the minds of the fans. So,
Mhm.
Neo's already faced all the bad guys, right? He's faced anything and everyone he can, unless he goes back and goes after Colonel Sanders. Then that's probably the only thing they could probably do. That
There's
would be.
nothing that he hasn't faced. He faced the machines. He faced
You're right.
the Sentinels. He faced the Architect. He faced the
You're
Oracle.
right.
He faced
You're
the
right.
virus, Mr. Agent Smith. I
You're
mean,
right.
like he's undefeated.
And I'm with you, and that's why my game is, well, then what is he gonna go up against in this movie? What's something new? What's something different, but still sort of elevates to our expectations? The only thing I can think of is Neo going up against Neo.
I
Some
agree.
way, some form, uh, a mirror image, a copy of the old Neo. The only thing you can put up, I mean, this guy is unbeatable. Like this, the Neo we knew after Revolutions is a god in the Matrix, basically. And you can
And the
tell
real
in
world.
absolutely, and you can tell in the trailer that there's a certain point in time where he stops trying to figure out who he is, and he now knows who he is. And by the way, he has all the same combos, all the same powers he did before. He's stopping bullets. He's flying. He's, seeing the code. So he gets back to what he was. And when he's at that level, he's really unstoppable. And the only person or program you could possibly put him up against after that would be himself. I don't know how they do it. I'm not claiming to know this. I haven't read anything that would lead me to believe that. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what do you put up against like a Neo that's already OP?
I'm totally with you on the Neo versus Neo idea because and it calls me back to um, Matrix. Not Revolution. Was Revolutions the second one?
Revolution's the last one. You're talking about Reloaded.
Oh yeah, real duh. Well, the most obvious
Shouldn't that have been this
sequel
one? You should
sequel
have
name
saved.
ever.
You should
Reloaded.
have saved Reloaded for this one. That just makes more sense now.
Yeah, but so in Reloaded, when Agent Smith and the ultimate fighting scene maybe of that entire decade. After Neo meets with the Oracle, and then he sees um, the clones of Agent Smith for the first time, and he has to battle them. They have a really interesting standoff. The dialogue there is really good, and one of the things that he's saying is that we're equals, we're the same, and what he meant by that was we're both pretty much the two most badass anomalies um, in this system, and we're going to have to duke it out. There can only be one sheriff in town, sort of thing. And so
Absolutely.
I don't see it being implausible that maybe Neo is the Agent Smith um, of the new Matrix. Maybe it goes that way. The one thing that throws me off about the trailer and going off on some of these theories is how similar it was that Neo was having this fight with a Morpheus-like character.
I
Because
actually wanted to ask you about that. Yeah.
it seems to me that that really screams rehash, right? Like this is the Morpheus of this new Matrix, and Neo kind of has to go through the same ropes again. Um, I That's the only thing that kind of throws me off on the theories, because the way they have tied it in is um, it makes it seem a lot like Neo's going to have to go through a lot of the same stuff that he went through before, but proving to people that he already knows how. And instead of everyone in the movies, like the last three, trying to get him to believe, he might be spending his time getting these other folks to believe in what he's saying. And maybe he has to flip that role a little bit, where he's like now trying to convince people, hey, the Matrix is real. I know how to use this stuff, and you need to listen to me. And he's finding people to help him with it.
What are the odds that, because you said this Matrix Morpheus, what are the odds that this is just a young Morpheus? That somehow, again, I don't think this is real, but I mean, is there a possibility that this is actually a younger version of Morpheus? Are we just watching like another? No, we can't be watching another anomaly,
That's what gets me on the movie theory,
like a
because
pre-Neo anomaly. We
it,
shouldn't
it
be doing
looks
that.
it looks
No,
like how
it can't be.
Hollywood would cast Morpheus.
Mm.
That's what sets me on that movie theory that I had read online. It really kind of falls in line with that. Um,
It's all a
where
setup.
maybe like Neo's filming a scene with this character, and then he's having flashbacks. He's like, oh, I've done this before, but this is not Morpheus. This is you know, a Hollywood, um, how Hollywood would cast Morpheus, like in this fake world. I think that it's very possible that Neo in his new life hasn't fully figured out he's the one yet, is a major Hollywood actor, and that's the system trying to kind of keep him at bay and keep him appeased. So, because they know that he's an anomaly again, because the code repeats itself usually. So, I think it's totally possible that that might be the case, but who knows? The Wojciechowskis are they're so good at what they do. It's impossible to tell.
I actually forgot to ask you the biggest question of all. So, I'm gonna try and find it in the trailer, but I think I might have missed it when we had watched it. There is a scene where Neo's running through some sort of warehouse or building. Up there it was, and he's actually running through a screen, a movie screen, and there's a picture. I got it. Let me show you here. This is the trippiest thing of all. This is Neo being shot at, and there's a projection on this very thin sort of screen, and that is actually the first. Well, let's just call him Prime. That's Neo Prime.
Yeah,
That's a picture or video
that's a
of
movie screen.
Prime Neo in this movie. How meta is that?
I mean, it's meta enough to where it might not work. It might be really cool in trailers, but I don't know how they're going to pull this together.
No.
This is one of those things where this it might be a multiverse situation. I'm also leaving that wide open. and not like multiverse in the sense of there's different universes, but they're playing on the multiverse trope with different lines of code in the Matrix. There's more than one version, and and Neo has found a way to get in and out of them, and he's trying to affect each one because he feels like that's what he's supposed to do. At some point, he's going to become overwhelmed because each of these people are in search of their own anomalies or whatever it might be. Um, it's tough, but I could imagine a scenario where there's a bit of a multiverse going on.
That blows my mind.
I mean, and I'm just bullshitting here. I mean, I don't know. It could be completely wrong and just be, a Force Awakens. I don't know,
No,
but
I mean, what you say makes the most sense, right? It we can't be doing time travel. We're not any like that's one of the leaps that we've talked about. Like you
Mhm,
can't take too big of a leap. Should not be time travel. Why is this Morpheus?
mhm,
Why is Neo watching Neo? Why is new Neo watching old Neo on a screen? It looks like it's what they were doing. That blows my mind. Should not be another planet other than Earth that they've sort of created a new and harvested more humans. I would hate that idea. So the only thing that makes sense is multiverse, a Matrix multiverse.
mhm,
We we freed the North American inhabitants that were being captured by the machines. Now we need to free the European inhabitants or something like that. I have no idea. It's
mhm.
it's crazy. It feels like it's bigger and more complex, but like you mentioned, they always find a way to kind of explain it and keep the audience engaged and rolling with them.
Yeah, and honestly, not to get on a personal or even a political note here, but
Yeah.
just from the person who's producing it now, I believe it's what Lana Wachowski.
Yep.
Um, so she's gone through a pretty major transformation herself in her life. Um, I don't see an artist like that not just going back to old tropes or keeping this something that they're just rehashing. I think this movie is going to be a bit of a transformation in itself, and maybe she's going to speak about her experience through this movie, and that being sort of dysphoria. And I think we're going to see a lot of Keanu Reeves confused, which isn't necessarily new, and not certainly not Mark Wahlberg confused. But I think we're gonna have him in this movie dysphoric. He's not gonna know what his identity is. He's not gonna know what's inside of him and what's making him feel this way, and why society is seeming to try to push him away from this. I think we're going to see a lot of that in this movie, and I may be just going out there again, but coming from what her personal experience is, I feel like she would transfer that into the movie.
Art imitating life.
Yeah, and I hope that's the case because it would be badass. And I mean, the franchise got off to such a good start after Reloaded. Do you remember Enter the Matrix, the video game?
I do. I absolutely do.
That video
I
game was
loved it.
awesome. It was
I loved
awesome,
it.
and I think they even had a like an online Matrix game too.
There was an MMO that I wanted to get into. I never had the PC strong enough to handle that kind of thing. So yeah,
I never got into it either. But it's one of those things where there's so much lore that's inside of there. Even like the Animatrix,
the
incredible.
Animatrix. Yep,
It was
absolutely.
so good.
What was the name of that ship that in the Animatrix?
The name of the
Neo's
what?
was the ship that they sacrificed themselves. Neo's was Nebuchadnezzar,
Nebuchadnezzar.
right? Oh, was it Animatrix Nebuchadnezzar? You're probably right.
Um, Maybe it wasn't Neo's ship Animatrix. Let's check it.
Go for it.
Yeah, so Nebuchadnezzar.
Awesome.
Yeah. Which is also just a really good name. One thing I
Fantastic.
really liked about Reloaded, and people give that crap too. I don't know why. They changed the style from the. It was a little bit more blue tinted in the original movie, and they kind of changed the style of it for Reloaded. It was a lot more green, and the action was a lot more stylized. There was obviously, more money behind it, but I loved it when they first went back to Zion because Zion was inconsequential before Reloaded came out. And you watched The Matrix; it was just this thing. It was an idea, and it was beautiful to think about. But I mean, we had no context to really um, to see what it was, and that's one of my favorite parts of Reloaded was kind of going through Zion. So I kind of hope if it is, kind of in the same world that they do kind of check in and see the progress there, um, and what's been going on you know, since the biggest war they've ever had. Obviously, it could be any amount of time. It could be 100 years, it could be 200 years. Hopefully, again, like you said, they don't take big leaps. But I mean, Zion could be pretty built up. If the war with the machine's over, they could come back up above ground. Maybe this world is what Zion built after they came back up to the surface because the war with the machines was over.
It doesn't it make you wonder, like the war, like you mentioned, the war with the machines is over. Why is anybody even in the Matrix anymore? Like that should have been it, right? Like unplug everybody, uh, go ahead and wake everybody up, and then let's see if we can. Probably can't, but rebuild the actual planet a little bit. Maybe it'll take a long time, but with more people and less killing, I mean, maybe it was would have been possible. I always figured that's what the end game was: stop the
Mhm.
war, let's get back out onto the planet and figure it out. But maybe that was never an option, or maybe that's what this movie's gonna dive into. Like, what's next? What's next for Zion?
Yeah, and it would also, I mean, we'd have to give a lot of good faith on behalf of the machines that they would hold up that truce as long as they did, because again, the humans were their power source. Machines had politics of their own, um, and so there may be an uprising amongst some of the machines who were like, "Hey, we can't keep this going. Forget these humans. We don't care about them. We're going to enslave them again." And Zion has built up this great big city in this world again on top. And this is kind of this movie is like the clash of them going at it again. I mean, who knows? Again, I'm throwing out another theory here. I'm
Write them
just
all down,
not
man.
sticking to
Write
anything.
them all down. All of them are possible. All of them are possible, and they're probably all going to happen in some order or some shape or some form. Tickets go on sale in less than a week. They go on sale on the 6th, which I believe is a Monday. Let me look at my calendar real quick. Tickets go on sale on Monday. Probably won't be as crazy of a ticket rush as No Way Home was, but I can imagine that this is still going to be a hot ticket item, especially around the holidays, because this comes out. I think it said Christmas Day, or was it at right before that? Right?
I think this is going to beat Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh yeah, no problem with that. Um,
I think it'll get over
Ooh,
100.
you know what? It'll be tougher because this is actually gonna be streaming on HBO Max, and you can't really account for
Yeah,
how well
that's
that
true.
does
That's
because,
true.
Warner Brothers doesn't give us information regarding their streaming service
I'm
for
surprised they
whatever
I'm surprised
reason.
they stuck with that. I honestly I thought that they were going to because a few movies did do that where they were going to be dedicated to HBO Max because we didn't know when theaters were going to be released. So
Yeah,
movies said, "Hey, we're going to come out," and a lot of them did release, but a few of them pulled back on that. I think Ghostbusters Afterlife was one of them. Um, that
you
was
might
going
be
to
right.
be HBO Max, and then they pulled it to say, no, this needs to be seen in the theaters. I'm surprised the Matrix is sticking with that, but I think it would do. Let's say, another theory. I think that it would do 100 mil if it was in theaters.
I think what it has going for it is that it's on the 22nd, so it'll probably release on the 22nd is a Wednesday. Maybe they do early screenings on the 21st. That's what they did for Ghostbusters. They released, a day early than we
Mhm.
thought. But
Jason couldn't wait to get that out. He was just showing it to everybody. If you were on the subway next to Jason, he was going to show you the movie.
every con he went to, yeah, I know. What this has going for it is it's out on the 22nd. Kids are out of school. Folks are taking time off from work, so it could have a better start than expected. But ultimately, it is going to be on HBO Max, and that will eat definitely into probably, I would just guess, 20 to 35% of its probably opening weekend, and that's not a. I got nothing to back up where I'm pulling that from, but
Yeah.
it I still think a lot of people, a lot of the original fans wanna see this in theaters. I do, I know you do. We want that theater, that movie-going experience
Mhm.
for the first time at least, and, after that, I'll be able to watch on HBO Max every other day, so I'll be totally fine, totally happy with that.
Oh yeah, me too. I am stoked for it, and it's coming up so soon. Um, we have. I wonder there'll probably be two more trailer drops probably before then. We'll get back and try to figure out some more stuff on this, but right now it's just hearsay.
Yeah, absolutely, and it also has to compete with the second week of Spider-Man: No Way Home, and
Oh my
so,
gosh.
again, the cards are a little bit stacked against it. It's not the opening weekend against No Way Home, but it's the
Mm.
following weekend. No Way Home is gonna have some legs because it's not on any streaming service and,
Yeah, I
showing
forgot about No Way Home. I
yeah.
actually, for some reason in my mind, I just factored that out of the equation. You're right. The second week, No Way Home is going to be massive, and the
Oh,
kids
yeah.
aren't going to want to go. I mean, you can take the kids to go see Ghostbusters Afterlife. You take the kids to go see Spider Man. I mean, I would say maybe 9, 10 is probably the earliest you could go take them to see
Yeah.
a Matrix movie, and even that's pushing it a little bit. I mean, the concepts are so heavy. Um, it's really a teenager and up kind of film. So you're right. Maybe it does like 45, 50, or no, maybe like 60 box office, and then kind of gets most of its stuff from mom and dad after they put kids to bed when they're watching HBO Max.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out some of the specs here. 2.5 hour runtime, around there. Definitely with trailers, it's gonna be, probably around that. I don't see what it's rated.
It's gonna be
It's
R.
I would figure that, right? And that's
Yeah.
also gonna be taken into consideration when
Hmm.
trying to figure out how it's gonna. Oh, yeah, rated R. I see it now. Rated R. So, yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be a challenge for a rated R Matrix film that's already streaming to show people that it's actually going to be as successful as you hope it is. With all that stacked against it, I'm hoping for a 40 million opening weekend, and I think it's definitely doable because it's opening on a Wednesday.
Hmm.
If it was a Friday, no shot, no shot to pass 40. Um, but let's say 40 is probably the low bar. I think if it passed 50, 60, I think that would be tremendous with everything that it has to overcome
Yeah,
the
I just
streaming.
hope it makes
The
enough
home.
to be profitable. I mean, that's the only thing I care about, because these movies are expensive to make,
Yeah,
and I want more properties to come out. I want more content. I don't want it to be like, oh, the last one was a dud, and it takes 10 years to get another one out. I really hope it just makes its money back. I'm sure HBO Max or HBO is sharing some of the subscription revenue with them, so hopefully that helps. But I don't want it to flop. But it's also not a franchise that I'm concerned with how it does, like I am Ghostbusters,
yeah,
or people would be, or like Star Wars, for example. I'm okay with this being a niche community of closet Matrix heads. I'm okay with it not being everybody's favorite movie. I don't need to sell it to anyone. If you like it, you
no.
like it. If you don't, you don't. So I'm okay with that. I don't care about its reception really, but I hope it makes enough to be profitable to keep it going forward.
Bro, listen, I just thought of something. All I want, all I want from this movie is nothing like you and I already talked about, nothing that's too far of a leap for us
Mhm.
to accept. If you start giving us some weird, like, this isn't real, or the original trilogy isn't real, or we're on different planets, or there's like different matrices that people are
Yeah.
stored into, like, those are all going to be really bad directions, too big of leaps for people to actually accept, and you'll start seeing some people like getting a little bit kind of put off by those kinds of concepts.
Yeah.
It
And you
needs
don't
to
want to
be
Ryan Johnson it.
you definitely don't. You definitely do not want to do that. So it's a huge challenge. I think they can pull it off. They did so well with the first three. I absolutely love the original films. I love what they represent. I love the themes. Um, I actually live by some of those mantras. Things that we go through in our lives are sort of predestined, but
Mhm.
we have control over them. We make those choices. Those choices have already been made, and we're just kind of going through the path that's already been predetermined. That was one of the
That,
things Neo
yeah.
learned. Yeah, in the
Yeah,
third film.
and there was obviously religion was a heavy theme
Totally.
of the Matrix and the story, even down to the names. I mean, it's Zion, Neo, the One, the chosen one. It's very Jesus, very Christianity, and I'm wondering if we could use those references to kind of figure out what in the Christian story has been told by the Matrix so far, and as a prediction tool um, use to kind of see where we go next. If there's some religious story that would mirror this the same way that some of the other ones did.
Dude, that would be insane. That would be absolutely insane.
Let me pull out my King James. I'll go. I'll go get a room at the Holiday Inn. They have them in the in the dresser, and I'll go do. I'll lock myself in there for 3 days and do research.
And you'll come out with another theory. Add another theory to the list. This is gonna be crazy. I'm gonna stay away from any sort of leaks or spoilers. I really don't want to know what's
Oh, me
happening
too.
until
I'll look
until
up
I'm
theories
doing it.
because I know that they're trash, and it just gives me something when there's not another trailer out, something to sort of dig through and keep me excited about it. But anytime I start reading something that's like, oh, this might be like too close, I'm closing that browser window and I'm looking up cooking videos on YouTube or something else. I definitely want to be surprised. I want to be like surprised. But 2.5 hours is a long runtime in a theater. I don't know if
It
I might just watch it on HBO Max first because I have a good setup here. I got a great surround sound, a nice TV. Um,
just
I'm
soak it in over and over and over again.
yeah, and then go maybe experience it in the theater because I mean, 2.5 hours is a hefty run. I mean, that's at least one pee break. For me, that's once we cross the 2 hour mark, we're gonna have to tack on one pee break, and that pee break now I have to have anxiety about the whole time. I'm sitting there because I'm like, when is the pee gonna come? Because I need to make sure that I go at a time when maybe like there's not a great plot or whatever it might be, and then I end up waiting too long, and of course I always miss the part that I needed to see. So that adds a lot of anxiety for me. So 2.5 hours is a long run time. I might HBO Max this thing.
I've been
Um,
I've been practicing for these things for like 20 years. All I do is don't eat anything, don't drink anything for like 4 hours before the movie starts, and I'll be fine. I'll be all right. I sat through the extended editions of like Lord of the Rings in theaters when those were dropped. So yeah, no,
mhm.
this is cakewalk.
Yeah, I just I drink a lot of Miller Lite, and so um, I'm definitely gonna have cated when I oh, is that a weird way to put it?
It's all
I'm
right.
def I'm definitely gonna have some drinks and whatever else.
Yeah.
And
In the comfort of your home with your big old
yeah,
setup. There you go. Look at
just
that. It's all
you know.
working out. It's all working out.
But
Pause it.
we should get together and watch it. We should do a live
Dude,
stream
that would be awesome.
of live reactions to watching the film, and that would be a cool content segment, I think, for the people.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
I
And
don't.
go for
No,
it.
go ahead. No, I was just going to say I don't know if you know any other Matrix fans. We're getting some of them.
There's a few. I need to reach out to them. They don't get out much. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And listen, we want to hear from you guys. You're watching this video right now. Let us know what you thought about both the first trailer of Matrix Resurrections as well as the one that dropped today. Don't forget, tickets go on sale December 6th. That's Monday. Believe they go on sale in the morning. I don't know the exact time. But for more information, go over to our Facebook page. We have the trailer there. They tell you all that information there, and let us know what your theories are. We've dropped about 20. They all contradict one another, but we're hoping for the best. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, let us know in the comments below what you thought about the trailers and what your theories are for the Matrix Resurrections. If you've seen leaks, I got a buddy that tries to throw leaks at me, and I'm like, stop it. I don't want to know. You've seen leaks. Don't let us know anything about those. Those have some chances of being true, and we don't want to hear about those. But give us your fan theories and whatever else you think is going on in the Matrix, because there's some weird stuff going on in the Matrix right now.
That is a fact. And then I actually, now that I've been getting moved in to my house, I'm finally getting things set up, and I'm
Nice.
launching the YouTube channel. And
Yes.
so certainly, please go to Maddie B TV at YouTube, and there's nothing on there yet. And I'm hoping that you lie and wait in anticipation on the edge of your seat, dripping sweat like you're at the foul line, waiting for me to drop the first video. And I definitely want to get steady in on a couple of those. So if you like the content, if you like the video, definitely hop over to Maddie B TV, and we will have some fun.
Absolutely. Give him a subscribe and be sure to like, share this video, and keep following because lots more Matrix talk to happen in the next 3 weeks before the film releases. We can't wait to talk about it. We're excited. We hope you are too. For the Countdown to the Geekcast, my name is Steady. With me on this Matrix Resurrections trailer reaction is one and only Matty B. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.